Are you ready for some football? The NFL and NCAA seasons are kicking off. And while tailgates and taking in the game in person are a ton of fun, kicking back at home and enjoying the game sounds pretty cozy and comfortable too. So today we're getting cheap and easy ways to DIY your own football room with trends, tips, and how to go all out with a sound system, massive screen, and really have the best setup here in Sacramento. Bailey Carson has the game plan. Hi, Bailey.
Hi.
So we're talking about football season and enjoying it at home. A lot of people do have great setups. A lot of people aspire to have great setups. What are some of the cheap and easy ways that someone can DIY a football room?
Great question. Yes, this is such a fun time of year as fall is approaching, and we have this opportunity to perhaps even entertain this year during football season. And you want to have that great setup. So I would start with the practical. Think about how much seating you need. How many people are you typically going to have? And then choose a space in your home. So maybe you're lucky enough to have a media room, but if not, where could you make some space do double duty? Is there a playroom that could be a media room on the weekends, or maybe a finished garage, finished basement, or even your family room? How can you transform it for this special season? So, as you think about making it special, a trend that we're seeing a lot at Angie is people using paint or even temporary wallpaper on one wall and making it sort of an accent. And this could be a great thing to do in your team colors or with some logo, where if you're using temporary wallpaper. And that's a great DIY project, pretty small and something that you could take on in an afternoon. As it comes to other DIY ideas, I don't think you need to consider it all or nothing. If there are bigger things you want to do that you're not comfortable with, bring in a pro. If you are comfortable, go for it.
Well, these are all great ideas when you were talking about the different rooms where you could fit it in, because sometimes that's my issue is like the space. Where are we going to put this that it makes sense? And of course, when you do this room, one of the biggest, most important things is the audio visuals, the screen, the speakers, and then the lighting for the best viewing experience. What types of things should people think about to make sure that they're using and optimizing the space?
Yes, arguably, this is the most important part, right? This is what's going to make the game come to life and give you the feeling that you're almost there on the field or in the stands. If you're going to go big, great time to bring in an expert here, right? Because the budgets can really get out of control when it comes to sound, TV, lighting. If budget is more constrained, I would think about mounting your TV as a simple thing to do. So put it in a prime viewing position. You don't want to be craning your neck, you want to be relaxing. Second, a sound bar. These start around $100 and can provide really great audio in terms of the trade off for the cost. And then, third, lighting. So, windows, while they're wonderful and you can let in some fresh air, you don't want to have your TV across from a window because it's probably going to have a glare depending on the time of day. So position your TV where a window is not going to be directly shining on it, or if that's inevitable, think about window treatments and how can you make sure that you can sort of control that natural light. And lastly, dimmer switches. Pretty simple to put in or bring in an electrician, but those can help you control overhead lighting or lamps in the room to really set that perfect ambiance regardless of what time the game is on.
Oh, those are some good tips. And you mentioned sometimes the rooms can be dual purpose. So how do you make sure that you keep it clean? Because of course, when you're watching games, you're going to have some snacks, you're going to have some food and drinks, but how do you keep it clean?
I would plan ahead here if you can. So at Angie, we see that the average home cleaning service is about $170. But for smaller homes, that can be $90. And if you're only getting some portion of your home cleaned, like your media room and your kitchen, let's say, after a game day, it could be at that lower price point. So that's a great way to sort of take the worry off of your mind, have it checked off in advance, and not be quite so conscious about having everything perfect right after the game wraps up. Also, ventilation is important. So when you've got nachos and chicken wings and who knows what kind of, if you have kids, what kind of snacks are going to be floating about. open windows if you can, as the weather is permitting. Great way to get air circulating. And if you don't have screens in your windows, and that's important, you could invest there. You could also think about putting in a ceiling fan if it's appropriate for the room. Just keeping that air moving is going to keep things feeling fresh, particularly in a dual purpose room where you want that game to sort of disappear come Monday.
These are all great tips, Bailey. I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing them with us. I'm a little inspired, and yeah, NFL season kicks off tonight, Football Thursday. Get more help for everything home at Angie.com.